Hello again, Miss Rochelle. How are you?
Hey, 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 how's it going?
Good. My glasses are dirty. I need to I need to clean off my with my freak shirt. I found this shirt at Urban Cheapskate and or Uptown Cheapskate, I think is what you call it. All right. So we're gonna talk about today is this propensity for violence that is going on, and we don't want to talk about it politically, and we don't want to give examples. I think everybody knows what's going on in specifically the U.S. And it's really frustrating for me. I'm a very empathetic person, and so when someone's around me or things going on around me that uh, are sad, it makes me sad. And so it came back from our last show, came back from break, and Rashawn and I talked about it. And we were trying to think, we wanted to brainstorm together on what is something that our society can do, specifically the youth that are in that age group of they're thinking for themselves, they're being held accountable more from a school perspective. So I would even say I'd like to say like seventh grade, but probably more like eighth, seventh, eighth, up until graduation. Um, and really speak to those youth and provide their parents or them specifically. They're all over the internet, scrolling on TikTok, watching fights, scrolling on Instagram and seeing shootings now.
Mhm.
Um, what I posed this question to Rochelle, like for a low income, child, might or might not have parents in New York City versus more affluent child. uh what are the tools and what are the things that we can be doing, conversations that we can be having, and creativity that we could do to start changing the way that we handle problems? And is there a one size fits all? Rochelle, what do you think? Is there a seed that can be planted, or a movement that can happen? What are we faced with? It's coming fast and furious, the hurt that we're putting on each other for no good reason.
I would say, to begin, we have to understand, well, not even really understand completely, but respect each other cultures. If we start there, I'm not saying you have to condone it. I'm not even saying you have to agree with the individuality and the cultures of the world, but the respect for it. And that's where I think we lost our hope. There's no respect of a person, there's no respect of each other's cultures and the way of life. Here in America, to me, it just seems like we all have this one um, frame set of a mind, like this way or no way. It don't matter if you're an immigrant. It doesn't matter if you was born here. This is the way it's going to be. And anything outside of these norms or boundaries is taboo. Yeah.
So what, as a parent of two, are they nine yet? Are they eight?
There will be in a couple of weeks.
A couple weeks, okay. What are some of the tools that you use just within your home as a parent, to help your children relate to other children that may not have as good at decision-making skills as they do?
Mm,
So when they're in a
so
group, how do you handle that?
when you said when they're in a group,
Like when you're not there, what
teach them
tools
to
do you
handle it.
give them? Hmm.
For one, to be respectful. So, um, some of my friends have autistic children. Some autistic children are in their classroom as well. So I teach them to be respectful. No bullying, no picking at the person. Always be helpful and be kind. I'm not saying you have to be nice, but be kind. So that's what I teach them, and to always speak up for those who don't speak up for themselves or who cannot, who don't have the capacity to. That's what I teach my children. So yeah, so
It's
they're
pretty, that's pretty basic.
But you would think, right? But my son just came home yesterday and he was like, Mom, we was at recess and a child was picking at one of the autistic children, and my son stood up for the child. And he was like, That's not fair, that's not right. And I said, I told him I was very proud of him for one, and you should always, stick up for people because that's just the person I am. I always, especially for people who are not as privileged or who don't have access to,
Marginalized, yeah.
yeah, the people like that. I always, speak up for those people. I remember one time I was in Victoria's Secrets, and matter of fact, it was at South Park Mall here in North Carolina. I was at Victoria's Secrets, let it be known, because I was very, very upset. A customer, she was Spanish speaking, and she was trying to use a coupon, and the lady, we know who the lady is. The lady was very rude to her, very condescending, talking down to her. She was loud. And I was next in line and I just took over the whole conversation. I just got out my got on my phone and did like translation. I'm like, you're an associate. That's common sense stuff that you could do, right? Oh yeah, and then I spoke to the manager, then I called back and talked to the store manager. Yeah, because I don't play about that. Just because someone doesn't speak English or just because someone doesn't clearly comprehend or understand, you're not gonna disrespect them. Not in my presence. Nope. I don't go for that. No, I don't care if you black, blue, purple, or pink. Nope. Not in my presence. Nope. Nope. Not
Yeah.
for handicapped people, not for people who don't speak the American language. Which is crazy because we're a melting pot, right? So they say. But yeah, no, I don't go for that.
Throw words with somebody for any level of it doesn't matter if it don't matter for me. If I hear somebody acting a fool, I will call them out. I will call them out. And I know that you've seen me in that mode, or at least I've told you I'm about to call them out.
Mm,
Um, my boyfriend always tells me no fighting, Angie, and he has a shirt that says my girlfriend bites. And I I think I scare people, but that's the not the intent, but don't play with me.
mhm.
And there's a way to, maybe this ties back to the confidence, but there's a way to carry yourself to where you're not going to get messed with, and you don't have to carry a gun, right? I was raised in a urban environment. I was born in Alexandria, Virginia. Grew up in the Washington D.C. area, and I grew up with my shoulders back. I may have been insecure in here where nobody could see me, but I was taught to build a mask, and honestly, having a good posture, has nothing to do with walking around the streets of DC, but I find that I can go into almost any situation, no matter how scary it is, with my shoulders square, my chin, square, and my eyes up and scanning and looking around. And I carry myself like I am supposed to be there.
Yes.
When you carry yourself like you are supposed to be there, you fit in. And when you fit in, you mind your own business. Um, and I think there's a lot of taking it a step back. Clearly, we don't know how to not solve problems without violence. So let's go back to the problem. Okay, well, if there wasn't no problem to begin with, don't start none, won't be none.
Hmm.
And that means that either the suspect or the victim doing everything in their power not to recognize that the other one is there. Mind your own business, because I feel like most of this violence, you know, is it's just what's the word I'm looking on for? Like a predecessor. Like we're jumping, be like building the tires, trying to put the tires on before you even know how big the fenders are in the car, right? You just shot someone because they didn't open a door for you. Maybe their fake arm was broke. I don't know. Like we're making a lot of assumptions and entitlement. Like stay in your head, mind your own business. If you're going out to get groceries, go get your groceries and go the fuck home.
Mm-hmm.
Do not pass go, do not collect $200. That's like I'm a very keep it simple. There's a thing in the corporate world called KISS.
Kids.
Keep
You took it right out of my mouth. Kids.
keep it simple, stupid. And I actually had an English teacher, Mr. Fox, in middle school, and he taught me that. And he taught me a lot of other things that you know I think about today. They're like he was crazy, but he would say you can pick your friends, you can pick your nose, but you can't pick your friend's nose. He that was another one that he would say, but he would say keep it simple, stupid. And it is true. I make a list. I'm going to go to Dollar General. I'm going to get these three things. Then I'm going to go to Kroger and I'm going to get these three things. And then I'm going to, go to the post office and I'm going to turn around and come home.
Hmm.
If you kids need to be start making lists about where you're going to go and what you're going to do and who you're going to see and how you're going to do it, then maybe do that. But everybody in this world just needs to go about their business. Stop having opinions about things that you don't need to be having opinions about.
Mm.
Go get your stuff done and come home and keep getting your stuff done. And when you feel that, so I asked you about your parenting, I had to really decide as a parent how I was going to do that, right? Um, and I basically told them, when you go to make a decision, if your head isn't feeling right, if your heart is skipping, or your stomach's achy, or you're scared, if any of those things are hurting, stop yourself and ask why. And that came from my psychologist. So that's one thing. Listen to your body. Listen to those fear mechanisms. If you're going out and you're on drugs and you're going out and you're drinking, you're going out and you're already upset and you're going out and you should have called the suicide number first, or you're going out and you should have gone to the bathroom first, and whatever the case may be, if you're not ready to leave the house and come back alive, don't leave the house. Call
Hmm.
somebody, eat something. It's like the Snickers commercial. It's a joke, it's funny. They got paid a lot of money for it, but there's truth behind advertising.
Oh
If you're
yeah.
in alcohol and out and AA or in really sobriety, it's hungry, angry, lonely, tired. If you're halt, hungry, angry, lonely, tired. If you're any of those things, halt and find out why. Go eat a cheese stick, go eat some cheeses, go, eat a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, whatever you can afford to get your hands on. Go sit on the couch for 5 minutes, call a friend if you're lonely, um, take a nap. Like all that, you could do all four of those things in a span of 30 minutes and still have time to go out if that's what you really need to do. But if you're going to PetSmart, you should be able to come home from a PetSmart and not be shot because you
Yeah.
got upset that someone didn't say thank you to you. Excuse me, I just burped into the microphone. I've had coffee and we have a few minutes left, but I really, Rochelle, I thank you for doing a pivot for this show. We took a 5 minute break. We had a plan to talk about pumpkin spice, and I'm glad we didn't. We always land where we need to land. And I've been very shared with Rochelle. I've been very introspective and cerebral, just because I have a lot of very logical things going on in my life right now. So I haven't been, too jokey, although I did make a pretty good joke with Rochelle in text this morning. Um, the when she was driving. But yeah, hungry, angry, lonely, tired. Don't go out of the house unless you know that you're going to come back alive. And you have full control over whether you come back alive or not. Whether it's your driving skills, your people skills, your anger management skills, your whatever it is. And if you're not 100% ready to step over that threshold, whether it's get out of your car or leave your house or leave your apartment or walk from your room to your brother's room or, where your parents sleeping, whatever, if you're not ready to make that decision, don't do it. Don't call somebody, eat something. It's not that simple, but we need to make it simple. Please, stop, just stop for a moment and halt and figure out what it is that um, is going on, and that if you want to scream at someone, I welcome that. I'm just going to put that on the table right now. If you want somebody to scream at for no damn reason, please DM me. You could call me, and if you want me to role play and fight with you, I will. I will. I would love to fight. Like, I just would love to throw down with somebody. So I'm going to put that out there. Um, that if you really feel a need to throw down with somebody and you want to cuss somebody out, call me. I'll give you my number. You can cuss me out all you want. If that saves somebody from making a bad decision, I do it. I'd be there in a heartbeat. I'll make a conference call if people call me 3 times. I'll let all of you yell at me at one time. But yeah, I pray on this world like I would be there for anybody. Um, I've been a pen pal to people in prison. I'm not above anything. I'm not below anything. So what do you think, Rochelle? What do you think about the brainstorming that we did and the conversation we had today?
I think it was needed. I mean, granted, you didn't want to talk about pumpkin spice, and I'm a pumpkin spice girly, but it was well worth it.
Well, I'll give you this. I'm glad it was. We are ruthless, and Rochelle and I are ruthless about making this world a better place. And we talked about how really on paper she and I shouldn't be friends, and we have a level of respect and appreciation for one another that goes beyond a love or a friendship. It's really a deeply respectful, appreciative, and therefore compassionate and loving. Uh, there's almost 20 years between us. We're obviously different colors, although I have like 1% sub-Saharan African in my genes. But on paper, we're not supposed to be this well, click this well together. And I appreciate that every day. I've never had anything like this in my life before. And podcasts are not, we'll always be connected. But I just hope that this thing grows. We go from 28 to 128. And if that's 13-year-olds, that I haven't been cussing that much, have I? I don't even think I've said the D word or anything.
You haven't cussed on the podcast. I'm surprised.
I think I have cussed on a podcast because I was like, mother. But these kids know their words anyway. It's not like
Oh, and how to spell them. Okay. Don't know how to spell
hmm
anything else, but okay.
But no, but if I knew my next 100 listeners were 12 to 18-year-olds, I would tailor it. I would talk to them. So yeah, I'm calling it out. All you parents, trust me with your kids. Um, let them listen. And I'm not even joking. There's a lot of people that trust me with guiding their children and giving them advice and helping them with their difficulties. And I do have a strong love for children, and that has been a theme, uh, in our podcast and even in our conversation. So I have a love for kids and youth and having fun with them and showing them different ways to solve problems. And that stems back uh, from my younger days. So Rochelle, thank you. This was needed. I appreciate you so much. I'm going to close out the call, get these posted, and I hope the next time we meet that we look and we've heard from some folks, and yeah, let's keep this thing going.
Alrighty, see ya.
Bye. Thank you.
No problem.